In the previous tutorial, we learned about automation in Ableton Live and how to create it by recording in mouse movements or even drawing in certain shapes. Now you can also use a MIDI controller to record in automation. So let's see how we can do that here. Now firstly, in the Ableton Live preferences, under the Link Tempo MIDI section, you want to make sure that your MIDI controller's remote option is checked. So with this, we will be able to remote control certain aspects of Ableton Live. Now to access this feature, in the top right corner, we have the MIDI map mode switch. I can click the MIDI map mode switch, and now any aspect of Ableton Live's interface that can be MIDI mapped will be highlighted. So just as a quick example, let's say this ratio knob on this compressor, I want to MIDI map. I click on it, it's selected, and I just have to wiggle a knob on my controller. As soon as I do that, you can see here a number appears. So this is letting us know that the assignment was successful. We can also click over here and have a look at that MIDI assignment. So you can see here on MIDI channel number 4, CC number 74 has been assigned to this parameter on this particular track. We can also assign the range for it. Let's leave it at the default and see how this works. So if I rotate my knob, you can see how the parameter moves all the way down and then moves all the way to the highest. If you go back to that MIDI map mode, I can adjust the range. So let's say I don't want my minimum to be at 1:1 ratio. I want to start at 2 and maybe not infinity. Let's say 10. Now let's get out of MIDI map mode. And now when I twist that knob, you can see the lowest it goes down to is 2 and the highest it goes up to is 10. Alright, I actually do not want to MIDI map this parameter, so I'm going to go back into the MIDI map mode here and then select this and just hit delete. Alright, let's talk about the parameters that I do want to automate. In this pre-chorus section over here, I have a bass. I'll solo that. I have this heavenly pad and this track 18 called Vital. You want to make sure to hold down Command as you solo multiple tracks. Alright, so let's just hear these three together. So what I want to do is I want to filter all three parts simultaneously with one filter. So to make this easier, I'm going to select all three tracks by selecting the first one, holding down Shift, and selecting the last one here. And I'm going to group them. I can right-click and select Group Tracks. So now I have this group. Now on this group over here, I can add the effect that I want. So I'm looking for an auto filter effect. Under Audio Effects, if you go under EQ and Filters, we can see we have the auto filter device. Let's load that entire device onto this group. And here we have the auto filter. I want to switch to this high pass mode. And this is the parameter that I want to automate. I'm going to set the resonance a bit high here and switch from clean to one of these modes, which introduces a drive knob. And we can add a little bit of dirt in the sound with that. Alright, so let's go ahead and MIDI map this. We're in MIDI map mode here. I'll select the parameter, wiggle a knob on my controller. The number appears. I may want to tweak the range. I'll set the minimum to 100. I'm just typing in a value here. And I'll leave the maximum at the maximum here. Alright, so that's done. And now we just need to perform it in. So ensure that no tracks are record enabled and hit the record button and create the automation. Alright, so let's hear this in context. I'll unsolo the parts.
All that I see, are you the one that's for me? The air that I breathe leads you right to me. I'm so lovesick.
Excellent, so that works. Now I do have a problem. The issue is that this filter is active and it's filtering out the three parts for the rest of the song. And we pretty much can't hear anything. So to remedy this, as soon as I'm done with the filter, I just want to disable the entire filter. So I guess I'll have to automate the device activator button here. Now instead of using MIDI map, let's take a look at key map here. Now instead of using MIDI map mode, we can just use the QWERTY keyboard to create key mappings and use that for automation instead. Since this is a switch, the QWERTY keyboard would be ideal for this. So I'll turn on key mapping. Again, everything that could be mapped to a QWERTY keyboard has been highlighted. I'm interested in this parameter, so I'll select it. And I'm just going to tap a key on my keyboard. Let's say the key A. You can see here it says key A has been assigned to a device on. Let's get out of keyboard map mode. And now I'm just going to perform that in. So there you can see, as soon as we are done with this pre-chorus section, I disable the auto filter. So now this entire group will be audible during the chorus section. Let's have a listen to it.
Leads you right to me. I'm so lovesick. I'm so lovesick.
Alright, so that is MIDI mapping as well as key mapping.